All right.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 12. Can you believe it?
Yeah, 12.
You know what, man?
That looked like 21, was it?
Oh, should it be this way? Is this better?
I don't know. Maybe it's for me. Whatever.
You know what? So all the haters that said we wouldn't make it past 10, there were no haters. There were no haters. But that's how we thrive.
Oh, man.
There are haters.
You know what? Sometimes you need some haters because then that means like you're actually getting a reaction. I think I'd love to have a hater. I'd love to have a hater right now because that would at least be something we could bring up during but now it's just like, yeah.
It's really positive energy. Everyone's really nice right now. And it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great. Hello, everybody. Welcome again to episode 12. And as we always start with every episode, Mr. Josh Yang, have you made it yet?
No, I have not. Lucas, have you made it yet?
Nope. If anything, probably took 5 steps back.
Yeah, we all took a couple steps back. Or, you know, the staircase or whatever just got taken away from us. So
yeah.
I don't think there's...
Actually, I forgot to mention this, though. I think my agent likes me enough now. She added me on Facebook.
Oh, wow. That's breaking the barrier between professional to like a semi-personal relationship.
Yeah. Now she knows me.
What? Yeah. How's that been though? Like, has she told you like what's gonna happen with like you and like the agency moving forward? Is like, you know, because a lot of organizations send those type of messages out. It's like, oh, this is what's gonna happen, whatever.
They're taking it day by day again. Every agency is doing the same thing because they don't know when the license for filming is gonna be reinstated in Ontario. So hopefully they don't go out of business. Hopefully they can still afford their rent. So I'm just hoping for everything right now. And on that note, we have a really special guest today, Josh. You might be able to read her name down there. Holy crap, you can.
Maybe not. Actually, I'm not too sure what the recording is going to show up, but
oh shit. Okay, so for our guest today, let's see. Like, you know Patricia, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Patricia. This next guest that we have today, she is an amazing actress that I first met at Patricia's birthday in 2016. And she was actually the first person that was ever introduced to me as an actress or an actor, period. So,
right.
You know, like you always think when you think of actor, you think of this like ethereal thing that you just see in a screen. You never get to actually like see one in person. So when I first met her, she was also living in Toronto, but I was also working like behind the camera still in marketing and everything like that. But I had all this like inkling to try to step into the game. So when Patricia first told me, oh, you'll know everyone at this party. Oh, and I'm also inviting my friend Annabelle. She's an actress. I'm like, oh shit. People like, it's like finding a Bigfoot. It's like, whoa, you exist. Oh my God.
As in amongst the Asian community, or like just actors in general.
Actors in general. I've never been introduced to a person who's just an actor, and that was their first introduction.
Okay.
So ever since then, she just actually inspired me to kind of pursue this path. As I've asked her a bunch of questions. We've went out for lunch before, and just to really pick her brain about this whole industry. She's a wealth of knowledge who's been in the game for quite a while. And probably that night at that birthday party, I probably asked her many questions about the acting game, probably drunkenly too, because it was a birthday party. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we all had a great time. So without further ado, in addition to acting, she's also a photographer, a jewelry designer, but you might know her best from Cleophay from the web series Life XP. So let's welcome Annabelle Loi.
Hey.
Hey, Annabelle, how you doing?
What's up? Good. Good.
Awesome, awesome,
Got my
awesome.
Corona ready.
Very timely, very timely. Um, how's the quarantine been for you?
Quarantine's been interesting. I think I'm just pretty much in the same boat as everyone. Just trying to fill my time with something productive and ending up sleeping most of the day. I don't know. I'm not productive at all.
Nice, nice, nice. We briefly touched upon that. Can you show your waking up mantra that you have by your bed?
Oh yeah, so I like to leave myself notes, as you can see. Some of them are really old, and I don't know what they mean anymore. But the most important note that I have every single day that I see, and I put it right in my line of sight, is this one.
Get up, bitch.
Just to make sure that I open up my eyes and do something today.
Yeah.
That's slightly affirming, but slightly morbid at the same time, which is a perfect
I'm
combination.
aggressive, and I believe in just
I'm
myself.
not.
You
Yeah.
gotta be
Um,
aggressive.
I'm not sure if everyone knows, but in this episode, we're actually filming. Josh and I are in Toronto, and Annabelle is in Vancouver. So this is our first like cross-national episode. So shout out to all the West Coast people there.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Does
cheers
it
to that.
wait, does it are those lights behind you? Does that also spell out like what does that spell out?
What, the
Because
B?
you got a B, yeah, you got a B and then what else?
That was a bell, because I'm
Okay.
narcissistic. You did get it for me, so not that narcissistic. But you can't just throw
Okay.
it out. Like, I have my name littered around everything. Like, you know how when you go to weddings, they all have the name card and everything? I keep all of that.
Right.
Like, all of
Oh.
it. So I have my everywhere.
Oh my
Which
god.
seems really arrogant, Sorry. I just don't want to throw away memories.
All right.
That's
So
fair.
on that
That's fair.
note,
I keep stuff.
yeah. So on that note, Annabelle, as we ask with every guest that we have here, have you made it yet?
God, I wish, but no, I have not.
Oh my god. Yeah, like, well, with that though, like, what have you been doing to progress your craft during this quarantine time?
So actually, the reason why I'm like slightly made up is that I just shot a monologue, self-tape thing, if you will, for the next monologue slam, and I think like it's mostly just I'm doing monologues, I'm learning monologues, taping them, even if it's for nothing. I try to do one once a week, and I've started posting them as of last week. And I try to learn like a new song just to keep my memory sharp, like a new song just to learn lyrics and maybe eventually get my voice to a point where I can say, yeah, I can semi-sing. Yeah, and I forced my friends to go online with me to do reads because I'm aggressive like that. One of them tried to back out, and I was like, nope, not happening. She was like, I'm not ready. I'm like, I don't care. We're doing this.
Oh my god, man. So, like, one of the things that I've been trying to grapple with is like one of the main things is taking acting classes, but are online right now. How have you like tried to have to pivot to doing everything online in terms of doing monologues and also readings online?
I mean, the readings and everything else is pretty easy because I feel like most of us have, like, if you're struggling to do self-tapes like that are last minute, most of your friends are probably going to be reading with you online because, if it's last minute, like some of my friends from, I don't know, Asia or from the UK, they're like, I need a reader. I can't find anyone in my town that can come over. Like, will you just hop on a Skype call with me and read for me? Like, I don't think that's changed as much. I haven't had any auditions. So honestly, in terms of putting things online, it hasn't changed much. I haven't done any online classes because, well, I can't afford them. But yeah.
No, I hear you. And it still sucks that they're still charging the same amount, even though it's not in person anymore.
Mm-hmm. like they give you a discounted rate because you're not physically there, but there's just so many factors that affect that class that I feel like maybe they should lower it more. But also because a lot of us are unemployed now because there's no serving. There's like most of us are unemployed. It's kind of hard to pay for that. Like I don't know where I would get $100 from. I would need that $100 for rent or food or just to live.
And to just get up, bitch. Like it's hard to get up now.
100%. Are we allowed to swear?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, because I'm a potty mouth.
Josh, do we have that explicit symbol on Spotify?
Yeah. I
You
even
should
even
put
I
that
think
on, like, as a warning for me.
Oh, okay.
even if we don't swear, I think it's good to have that because it's kind of how those CDs back in the 90s where they have parental advisory stickers on them and as like a rapper or whatever you want those. So I might as well get explicit in there.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not PG. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So here, let's go rewind like all the way back before you even like dabbled into acting and everything. So I know you're a multi-talented artist and everything, dabbling in like jewelry creation and also photography, among other things too. So what would you say before you even went to acting? What hobbies or crafts did you have that first steered you into even wanting to pursue a creative craft?
Ooh, I think I was always more into the arts than I was in the typical Asian careers, I guess.
Cool.
I mean, I was good at memorizing things and like spitting them back out, which helps as an actor. But I feel like even when I was a kid, my grandmother would tell me that like I would just like have a jewelry kit of like beads and I would just string them and then cut them apart and then re-string them. So jewelry was always part of my life, and that's actually like the first job I earned on my own. But I think I was always more into the arts than I ever was into anything else.
Awesome. And then from the arts, what made you really want to pursue going into being in front of the camera?
Oh God, I didn't. I had no intention of being an actor, to be quite honest. I never took drama classes in high school or even elementary school. Like my goals, like how when you're in high school you have those career meeting paths classes, and like all of mine were like, to be a lawyer, to be in marketing, to be in PR, or like all your typical like I'm gonna do something that's like has a linear path. Right. I didn't get into acting until I graduated from BCIT in PR, and then I went traveling for 2 years. And when I came back, I realized I didn't want to go into marketing. I didn't want to go into PR. I just wasn't ready to like settle into something that was like a desk job. So my friend suggested that I take up a extra gig to just make some money and do things. So I did one day of extra work and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. We were filming a summer scene in the dead of winter, and I'm not about that cold life. Like I am a creature of comfort. And so I immediately left, and then my friend convinced me to go to an open call thing for extra casting or extra agencies. It's not the most reputable agency, so I don't know what to call it exactly because it doubles as a production company. I don't know. It's shady. It's very shady. I've learned to steer clear. But I went there, and it led to a acting school that I went to. That was a nightmare. But in the 3 months that I was there, I did learn that I enjoyed acting. So I actually did the research and looked up proper acting schools, and I ended up at Vancouver Acting School, which is now School Creative. And it just went from there, like got hooked.
Nice. And what year was that when you first had your first acting class?
Ooh, my very first acting class would have been in 2010, I guess, at that really shady establishment. But then my first official class, I think what I would count as like from at a real establishment at Vancouver Acting School would have been 2012 actually, like beginning of 2012.
Man, 20. So you've been in this game for basically 10 years now. Yeah,
almost 10 years. It might have even been 2011 in September actually. Nice. Yeah, it must have been September. It's been a while.
Oh my God. Josh, what were you
Crazy.
like destined to be in high school when you took those like career tests?
Oh, I don't know actually. I went into like university. I went to SFU under like a history. I jumped all over the place. I was like history in the first year, but I knew I wanted to switch into business. And then second year I went into communications. Third year I went into international studies. And then I finally got into business. So I graduated with like a business and international studies
Yeah, yeah.
degree. And yeah, and then from there also like did a bunch of exchanges, traveled a little bit, and then moved to Toronto like 3 4 years ago, and didn't really start doing stand up literally until a year ago. So like, yeah, it's kind of like there's a lot of things you can learn or study for, and then kind of what you end up gravitating towards may not
Yeah.
have anything to really do with what you did in college. But like, I also always kind of was interested in directing as like a kid for a little bit, and I was thinking actually going to like the Vancouver Film School or anything, but I guess I didn't really get the kind of, I don't know, like Annabelle and Lucas as well. We touched a little bit about this with family, but I don't think I ever got like a lot of fully support when I mentioned the interest of like maybe going to Vancouver Film School.
Mhm.
So that kind of support from like family or like when I brought it up. So that kind of shut that idea down a little bit when I was younger. So then I looked into other kind of avenues and I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. But like Annabelle, what was your I guess what was your experience when you kind of broached that type of, topic with your parents that you wanted to go into acting or more focus into the arts?
Mhm.
Oh God. So I'm actually named after my sister's godfather's sister, and she's a singer. So when I first got into acting and I told them I'm going to acting school, they're like, "Wouldn't you rather be a singer?" And I'm just thinking, "Have you heard me sing? You've heard me sing. Like you think I'm gonna be a singer?" And to this day, they're not supportive of it at all. Um, every chance that they get, if you mention acting, or if I go out early in the morning to go on set, like at 5 a.m., they're like, "Where are you going?" It's just like, maybe you should quit. Like, you're not, like, they're not supportive at all. Like, I get a lot of pushback to focus on my day job as opposed to acting.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but what is your day job, or like what is your main gig to try to support
My,
your art?
my Joe job, what we affectionately
Yeah.
call our day jobs in acting,
Oh.
is PR. I'm in public relations, so I'm an
Okay.
account coordinator for a small company in Vancouver, and yeah, that's what I do. So I ended up still using
Nice.
my degree, which is nice, or certificate, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In terms of like the grunt jobs that actors and musicians have to do, like working at bars or restaurants or like grocery stores, like me, PR, working at PR is pretty good. Like you found yourself a good Joe job.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like I've worked a lot of reception jobs. I had a lot of pushback on, like, if you have an audition, they're just like, "No, you can't go. You have to stay for this shift." I've done the serving thing. This is like, I've landed the dream job where I'm full time. I get benefits, and anytime I want to run away from an audition, go. Like, if I make it for the hours, they're happy about it. If I, like, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's amazing, amazing opportunity. And like, I don't know if I'll be really sad if it shuts down because of
Mm.
Corona, to be quite honest.
Right, right. Sorry, man.
Yeah, that definitely happens.
So with that whole journey of you like going into acting and going into taking classes, how was the process for you for finding an agency to go with?
Um, I I think I was lucky when I first left that acting school establishment place. I was like, okay, you know what? I really like acting and I want to pursue it.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure. I like, at that point, I was just so jaded that I thought all acting establishments at that point were like going to be ripoffs and just horrible experiences. So the first thing I did after that was look for an agent,
Mhm.
and I got lucky because I actually went with a really reputable agency. I just like submit. I was kind of like, "Hey, I'm new to the thing. I'm a new face. Would love to talk to someone." And a really reputable agency took me in because they said I had a really commercial look.
Nice.
And so essentially didn't give a crap that I didn't have proper training. They did mention that the place that I went to was really shady and that I should really go engage in some acting classes, which I did, which is what led to the proper acting school. But yeah, I got in based off looking commercial. Like, you know, cute, pretty, but not intimidating. Commercial.
They don't know about your potty mouth, though. Oh my God, Annabelle.
That's what the acting thing comes in. They don't need to see me. Although now, if you go for commercial auditions, it's all about your personality. So I'm not suitable.
Interesting. Ah.
It's so true, though. Like Josh, it's seriously, it's not even down to. Of course, like when you go into an audition room and everything like that, they want to see your personality. But how you get actually into the audition room is just literally your look, your headshot. And so much of it plays into actually having a good headshot that it's mind-blowing how many little subtle cues you can have with your eyes. Yeah.
And with film and TV, the good thing is that like you have your lines. So aside from saying your slate, if they ask for your slate, you know, you get to be somebody else. That's the whole point of acting. Whereas with commercials, you know, they want to hire, like there's a trend where they tend to go for more realistic people that like aren't actors. And so a lot of the times commercial auditions, they're like, oh, how does your family celebrate Christmas? And I stand there, I'm like, well, my parents are immigrants, so they don't know what Christmas is. So I have to lie. And I'm sure that comes off as fake at some point. But it's really hard when like you're an actor and you expect to be someone else and then they ask you to be yourself. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to be myself.
It's so true. I get
that's interesting. For me, I always kind of imagine if like the comedy thing, you know, goes off in a good direction or whatever. Like I would be completely happy just being typecast as like my personality only based upon my comedy. So if I could just be like in a sitcom as like a friend of say the main character, but always has some, you know, quippy lines, like I'd be completely happy with that. But like in terms of range, yeah, I'm not sure if I have range.
Josh, man, you have range.
Like, I don't know what to
my
say.
voice doesn't have range, so I don't have range.
Give or take. It's one or the other. You gotta get both.
Yeah.
Exactly. With that though, when you first signed in with an agency and they told you you had a commercial look, were you primarily getting like commercial auditions or still drama and TV film auditions?
No, I had no training at that point. So while I was in school, I was only doing commercial auditions, and it was great because I recognize I do have a commercial look, so it was enough to keep me satisfied. But like the further you go along, the more classes you take, and the more heavy scenes that you get, because your coaches are trying to push you, you kind of start craving more, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, I don't want to go in and just like show my hands anymore. I want to go in, I want to have like maybe a line or two, you know? I want to do more.
Yeah.
And so I asked my agent, and because I hadn't actually completed any class at that point, she was just like, you know what, why don't you put this on tape for me? We'll see if you're strong enough. And then, but like it was, I never actually got out of the commercial area with that agency. So and that's like shortly after I moved to Toronto after I graduated. So my first real like film TV thing happened in Toronto.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's so true.
Oh,
go on, Josh. Go on.
Sorry, there's a bit of a. I was gonna ask how was that experience your first like gig in Toronto?
You know what? By the time I got to Toronto, I did like enough commercial auditions. Like going to an audition really didn't scare me that much. It's still nerve-wracking when you have a lot more lines than you're used to. But I think my very first audition was way scarier than any other audition I had. And that was in Vancouver. Like I remember being sent in, and I don't know if they read my resume wrong, but I walk into this green room and it's all these really freaking hot girls who are like, I swear 6 feet. Their hair was done and like down to their waist. They were all just like leggy, and I thought their legs went up to my neck. And I was just like, I walk in and I'm like, bye. I don't belong here. Like, I literally walked in. I'm like super short. I'm just like, did somebody fuck up? Because I don't look like these girls. And so I actually make it to the middle of the hallway room thing, and my nerves get to me, and I kind of turn to walk back out the door, and at that point, the casting assistant comes out and goes, Annabelle, and I'm like, huh, no. I almost
said no.
I was like, yeah. They're like, you're up next. I'm like, oh god. And it was worse because I walked in and the casting director did not look at me or the other girl that was in the room at all. Like, the entire time he was looking down on his sheets and everything, and I was just like, this is not for me.
Oh, shit.
Man. It's so true, though. Like, I said it in a previous episode, but if done right, when you go to an audition room, that is the best mirror that you can ever have, because that's how other people view you.
Oh.
Like, but man, like, I can only imagine, like, walking into a room, like, for yourself, like, walking in with, like, freaking tall, like, Wonder Woman kind of looking beings, like 6 feet tall and everything like that, and feeling so out of place looking around.
I've had a couple of those. Like, I've gotten to like random model commercial auditions, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. These girls are like 6 feet, and I'm like 5, and I got to go, and I never get them because, like, I'm not a model. But I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And like, another time, I went into a room, and it was all these white blonde girls, and the role was for a daughter. And I'm like, okay, wait, so let me get this straight. The dad's white, and I'm the only one who's Asian here. Like,
Nice.
What am I doing here?
Nice. Playing the ScarJo
Like,
role?
they're all blonde.
Pull a reverse Emma Stone.
Yeah. That's another one.
Yes.
That's another one.
Yes. Emma Stone's too Asian.
Yeah. Dude, her last name was Ing in that movie. The same last name as me. That was crazy.
She was pretty much like full Asian, apparently. No, she was supposed to be half. She was half Hawaiian, half Chinese.
Oh, yeah. In the movie.
Yeah.
Or also there was a thing where I think the original writer intention was that the character was mixed, but like looked more Caucasian than necessarily the Hawaiian Asian elements, and that was supposed to be.
I think she said it was like half Hawaiian, but then like she must have been quarter like a mix of Asian and like Polynesian. By the way, she should have been a lot more Asian than blonde.
True. And also, like, I think nobody realized that because they only alluded to her name like 4 or 5 times maybe throughout the entire movie.
That is a lot more. That is 4 or 5 times more than a regular movie.
Right.
Because normally
like,
you
just
would get
saying
that's it. Whereas like throughout the movie, she actually kept saying, "Yeah, I'm half." Like, you said it enough times, like, she's definitely half. Like, otherwise, it would just been a toss off.
Right. But yeah, that is true. I've seen different things where it's like I've seen like on different social media some girl, or like on TikTok there's this thing called like Asian check, where if you're like mixed, there's like a TikTok kind of social media trend thing going, so you like reveal your half or you're mixed. And there was this one girl who was like a quarter Korean but looked fully white. So that was like, sometimes you do get that situation, but definitely not enough where you can be fine with that casting choice.
Well, I mean, I think like if you look it, it's fine. I don't care if like a Korean plays a Chinese person, or if you're half or you're and you look like you're full Asian. That's cool. I think the only time when I have issues is where like you look so freaking white and like you're like, I'm 1/16 Polynesian, so therefore I can play this role. Like, no, you look fully white. Like, stop it.
It's true though. On that topic though, are there any like straight up bombing stories that you've had when you were in the audition room?
Oh God, yes. Nice. Actually, not that many, but I did have one where oh God. So this was with my first Toronto agent, and I go to this audition, and it's a silent on camera role, which means there's no lines. And I'm like, okay, great. So I just gotta show up and mime something or pretend it'll be, or ad lib or improv. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We're good.
I hate those so bad.
I've done. I'm good. I'm prepared. Yeah, like, and I walk in and the casting director goes, okay, so don't worry so much about the lines. Just focus on the second page and like just have fun with it. Just say, I'm like, what lines?
Yeah.
What lines are you talking about? And she was like, you didn't get the sides? I'm like, there are sides? Like, what?
Oh,
And I'm just like, and she's like, you didn't get that? I'm like, no. And she was like, here, why don't you take like 10, 15 minutes and go take a look at them. I walk out, I'm like, yeah, so that was fun. I did fine. She laughed. I killed it. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
But by killed it, I mean I didn't. But
okay.
It was fine. I messaged my agent afterwards. I was just like, so there were sides to this audition, and she was just like, oh, were they? Like, oh, I did not. What?
Oh man.
I'm like, and yeah, like that was probably one of the first red flags I saw with that agency.
Oh shit.
It's great. She owes me a paycheck, actually.
Yo, that's sketchy. I'm sorry, what agency that is.
Yeah, no, well, it was my first agency, like for film and TV, and I was still like fairly new at that point. But like, I think like it was less than a year that I was with her, but like sometime during the year she messaged me and she goes, oh, I have a check for you. I need to mail it to you. Just want to confirm your address. So we confirmed that. And then I never got anything. And I'm like,
oh, she actually owed you a check and just didn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's fine. It's no big deal.
Oh my god. Okay, when you get your principal role on Crazy Rich Asians 2, then that check will be nothing, right?
Well, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. I feel like she was also very new. So,
Man, blind leading the blind. Yeah.
I think like I'm just like, I think my first couple of experiences in the film world, because a lot of people want to be famous and do things, and they kind of fall for these little traps. That people are like, oh yeah, come to this casting call, and we'll make you famous. This is how you get in with Disney, or like this is how you get in with like, I don't know, WB or whatever it was at that point in time. And you're so new, you don't know better, that you don't know that how the industry works, and you just kind of go and you pay the $3,000 for your headshots that they suggest and all that stuff, right?
Whoa.
Okay, if this is what I need to do to make it, then I will do this. I'm serious about it. And at that point, you're like, you're not so far in your career that you're so damn poor that you're like, I have this money because I used to have a proper job. Yeah. And you do it, and you kind of fall into this stuff. But like, and because I was like so not young, but like I was so new to it, I just throw it off now as like a learning experience. Like I will never fall for that shit again.
It's so true. Like, I guess one of my regrets, well, I'm not sure if it is a regret, but at least a thought that I always have is, if I had done this acting game earlier, would I have more success right now and everything to give myself more runway? But at the same time, in the same token, I probably would have been a dumb shit to be in this game, because I would have like blown my money so fast.
I did that.
Yeah, right.
So much money. Like, I spent like $10K easy. Like,
wow.
Oh my god.
And I only stayed there for 3 months, and it was awful, and I never got that money back. And then I didn't realize that acting schools aren't supposed to be that expensive.
Yeah,
like,
they aren't.
No,
like, shit, they aren't.
And like, I'm like, I can get a degree for that. Like, every year that I went to Ryerson for fashion school, like, was only like $8,000 for the school itself. Like, why was it so expensive? Like, you know, there were so many dumb things that I fell for, and I'm still paying for that. Oh God, I honestly wish I knew more people in the industry at that point in time to like be like, no, don't make that stupid move. But I didn't. Like, I didn't. Like, I had all friends who were accountants and marketing people. Like, I had no one to go up to. Hey.
Isn't that so true though? Like Josh and I were talking about this before. I'm not sure how it is in the comedy scene, but at least in acting in Toronto, it feels really damn lonely. And the people that you do meet in acting classes and everything like that, yes, they are great people. But there are like few and far between that are like willing to build a community with you too, because everyone seems so competitive. But with that, like what you were saying is, if you had that community, you would have like not made so many, well, quote unquote mistakes, because now you're learning from them. But at least a community would have really helped you progress further and not help you fall as faster too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that falling and for dumb shit early on really actually helped me build my my community, because I think a lot of people have been burnt by that establishment. A lot. It was insane how many people that place has screwed over, and because you kind of I reached out and I was kind of like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I fix my mistake?
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, oh my God, me too. I've been there. Here's what you need to do. And that's how I actually found my next school. That's how I like got taught to like find my first agent. That's how I like, a lot of people were so sympathetic at me being fucked over and being serious about it and like putting that money towards it, that they're like, oh God, yeah, you know what? Here, let me help you out. And like same with Toronto. Like I feel like once you find a group that, I don't know, it's hard to say, but like, yeah, you find your people after you
I know
pretty quick.
So like in the States, they have different acting institutions like Juilliard or like NYU or Tisch and stuff like that. I'm wondering like what are the ones, what would be the equivalent in Canada?
Good question.
I feel like Vancouver Film School is one of them.
Right.
But I don't know, I think that's necessarily for actors. I know Capilano's really good. I don't know. Like Ryerson has a theater program.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I don't know if we actually have like anything that's
It's definitely not like popularized within Canada per se either. So I feel like you could, I mean,
the fact that we're an immigrant country too, like, and if you're an immigrant,
yeah,
you're gonna be a doctor. Like every country, like whether you're Italian or Asian or whatever, you're gonna be a doctor if you're from an immigrant family. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, so we wouldn't be familiar with that much if either way with the arts and that kind of stuff. I would imagine though, like Lucas, to your point about like actors and kind of the loneliness surrounding it. I think like, and I've asked you this, if you were interested in ever trying like theater, because I think like in terms of the theater community, it's a little bit more tight knit, that kind of stuff. I don't know if Annabelle, you've ever thought about trying theater at this stage.
You know what? I've always done film and TV training. I've done some theater classes, and I think it's so essential to do some theater classes and to do theater because acting is acting is acting. But there are some aspects of like doing a play versus being on camera that's a little bit different, but not real. I mean, you got to enunciate more if you're on the stage, but I think the training and the people are pretty much, I mean, the theater people, if you're spending like months and months together every single day, yeah, you're going to be closer. But I think everyone in the film industry kind of jumps in and out of theater work if they're well trained. Like you're always going to bump into some theater people because they're just, I don't know, if you've done theater training, you are that much better of an actor. Like that, I think that's why like a lot of actors in the UK are just so freaking phenomenal, is because they're all required to do theater training. Like they and like the point of theater training is that you get into like more into your body and the breathing and your mannerisms, and you learn a whole bunch of things that you don't get to learn in film and TV. That it's that training is actually like really interesting and really crucial. Like even if you just dabble in it, because like I've only ever dabbled in it, but what I learned from that is amazing.
Awesome.
I mean, it's also hard because you don't get cut, but you learn.
For sure. Have you been in any productions in theater?
No.
Okay,
God, no. I feel like I'm that type of person who would 100% need those cuts because I will burst out laughing if someone like something weird.
Oh yeah.
Like I've done like I had partners who are like suddenly will pull a freaking Jamaican accent and I'm like, what are you doing? And then you burst out laughing because they're so straight faced, but like they're just like fucking with you. And I'm like, I could not do that on stage. Like if someone accidentally flung a prop, I 100% will laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like I recently, okay, when I first moved back to Vancouver, I had this audition where the casting director was trying, like, called everyone. It was commercial audition. They called everyone in, and they're just like, okay, we're gonna block everything. So like, which is like showing you what you're going to do and where you need to stand and where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the guys and he goes, okay, so the guys, I just want you to like put your head down onto your arm and hide your face a bit, and like, but don't go crazy and like hit your head on your arm or whatever. And he kind of does it, but he actually hits his head onto his watch, and his like head kind of rebounds, and everyone's like, oh my god, are you okay? And you know what I do? I burst out laughing. And I'm like, and everyone's like looking at me. I'm like, I think I just fucked that audition up. And he was like, right, you can wait in the green room forever. I'm like, I'm sorry. And thankfully the cameraman was also laughing. So he was like, but then I made it worse by chuckling halfway through after everyone had stopped.
Oh.
I am such an asshole. I'm sorry.
No, that's fucking hilarious though, man. When someone injures themselves at an audition, you committed to the bit way too hard, man.
But like, it was the casting director, you know? So everyone was like looking at me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Oh man.
My God, man. Yeah, one time I had a person in an audition. So he was my scene partner, and we were supposed to be like rescuing a baby, right? So I heard in commercial auditions that you should, of course, play the part, but like, don't be so over dramatic. It's easier to bring up your energy versus the casting director to tell you to bring it down a bit. So we were playing the bit, and me and my scene partner were running up towards the baby. And the moment that I make connection with the baby, my scene partner starts like yelling at the baby, like, who are you? What are you doing? Stop this. Stop this. I'm like, bro, like just stay in character. But like, you're freaking me out right now holding an imaginary baby. But it's like, honestly, sometimes your scene partner could make or ruin your own audition too.
Yeah, that's always fun. Like when you have a scene partner that's, I had one like who could not for the life of her understand where the camera was.
Oh, no.
And I say that in the sense that like every single time the casting director would be like, okay, go. She would step in front of the camera and hide her face completely. And because like she went to like try to face me, and that just, I think at that point I feel like the casting director felt sorry for me because she was kind of like she just got so sick of it. She was kind of like, I can't see anybody's faces because you're blocking everyone.
Right.
So she was kind of like, okay, thank you. And you could tell she just looked sympathetically at me, and I'm just kind of like, okay, well, that's not gonna happen for me either then.
Oh my God.
Like, that wasn't me. Okay. Yeah.
Josh, it's kind of like your set that one time when that guy like just riled up the whole audience and got them so mad that it like hampers on your set too.
Yeah. I mean, just anything that will like suddenly shift the mood of the audience in a stand-up show, like the comedians will have to address it, break the tension, and then be able to like, the rest of the show be able to go smoothly. So I mean, either way, like it really does depend. I mean, even the good, even when another comedian before you is killing it, that can also fuck you up, because like the audience will be like laughing at like one style of comedy if it's not your style, and then you go up right after and it's like the audience may not like yours at all in comparison, and then you could bomb. So I mean, that happens.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. So Annabelle, just one of the last few ones that we do have here. So like when you're preparing for roles and auditions, do you have a process, or do you have any like pre-audition rituals that you do in the waiting room?
No, I'm really nervous. So, or I have I have nerves as like every other actor. And how I get through them is I talk to people so that all that nervous energy kind of just goes away.
I hate you. I hate
Which
you
is annoying
already.
to a lot of other actors because they're like, don't talk to me. I need to learn my lines. And I'm like, okay. And like, that's how I get rid of it. And like, it's not hard for me to just like go back into it. Cause like, I'll take that when they say, I'm on deck. That's when I'll like be like, okay, get into the mindset and go. But I'm usually there early. So I need to talk away that nervous energy because if I did I'll also like walk around the block, calm myself. But if it's raining or whatever, like I just need to talk to someone and get that energy out. And usually, luckily, I've always found someone in the audition room who was like, yeah, I want to talk too. Please let me talk. But yeah. Some people really, really hate it. Like I went into an audition once with a friend, and she's one of those like, don't freaking even look at me because I will kill you if you distract me. And she's like so intense. And I walked in and I'm just like, hey. I won't do it. And I was like afterwards, and then like, so I waited for her like after the audition. I'm just like, can we talk now? She's like, no, we cannot talk. I need to process. I'm like, God damn it. I do not want to be your friend anymore.
My God. Yeah, dude, if you talk to me before an audition, I would kill you, Annabelle. Oh my God.
Hey, Lucas. Hi.
No, you're dead. Okay.
Yeah, no, I've learned to respect people that way, but like, and I'll just like text people my nervous energy.
Texting, yes, you can do that one. So yeah, we know that you're in Vancouver right now and everything, and you've made that transition from Toronto to Vancouver. In terms of the acting world, what's one thing that Toronto has that Vancouver doesn't?
Ooh, a really, really good indie scene.
Oh,
you know what? I really, I've been thinking a lot about moving back to Toronto lately, and that's been on hold. I was thinking September, but that's just going to happen now. But the good thing about Toronto is that there's a really good indie scene, and I like, there's not a lot of comedians in Vancouver, and I'm sure you've noticed that. Like, but in Toronto there is, and I feel like it's because there is more of a support and exploration of the arts there. And there's more people who are willing to work with you and collaborate with you and do things with you, you know, just for the fact that they love it. Whereas Vancouver people, I feel like there's more production here, so they want to work on actual professional sets, and they don't have a lot of time left over to do passion projects. And those who do have that time generally, like, and that's not everybody, like, I have to say that, but most of the ones who do have time are the ones who are not that they're not serious, but like, they're not, I don't know, like, they're more iffy in terms of the work ethic is what I've found. It's not all of them, but there are a huge majority who are willing to work with you. They're more iffy. Like, the amount of times, like, as a photographer, in Toronto, if I want a model and like I can go online and just be like, hey, does anyone want to work for like time for print? And like, you know, everyone's willing to come on board and just do things and build their portfolio, even if they are already established. Whereas Vancouver, when I say that, there are people who want to be models who are pretty, and they're just like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. And they won't let you know until like an hour before, and they're like, oh, I didn't have your number. I'm like, really? That's funny, because it's in all my emails, in my signature. Like, I just find that the people in Vancouver are a bit more, who are willing to do the passion projects, are a bit more wishy-washy, and that's what I miss about Toronto, like the passion and the drive and the follow-through. Like, I think that makes a difference in the indie scene, which I really love. And if you're non-union, like, that is like your bread and butter to like build yourself up creatively. It's how you build your resume, and I don't feel like Vancouver has that, or at least not to the degree that Toronto is at. Like, I think every single comedian I know is in Toronto. Like, I don't know a single Vancouver comedian.
Yeah, I didn't even really consider doing comedy until I came to Toronto, because of the fact that it's so small over there. There's not that many clubs. There's even less. I mean, the comedy mix closed down like a year or so ago, so there's even less clubs. But yeah, no, Toronto is definitely the place to be if you want to be a comedian. But now is not the place to be if you want to be a comedian in general, because nobody's working. Not like, no comedians are working, to the point where once this thing gets back for the like comedy scene, like even professionals will be like, I don't know how to perform anymore because it's been so long. because these are like comedians who have been performing every night for the last 10, 15 years, and now they're like 2 months without an audience. So it's gonna be weird.
You can do your own Netflix special.
Yeah, no, people self-produce and put it on YouTube a lot. So I mean, who knows? Who knows?
And if someone steals from you in the future, you can be like, "Yo, listen, you stole my shit. Here's the proof."
Yeah. That is something to consider, like putting stuff out there and then making sure it's timestamped so that if somebody, you could call them out on stealing, but yeah. Wait, so Annabelle, can you explain a bit more about the whole Life XP experience? Because that seems like that's one project that you did more consistent roles, or you had like 4 or 5 episodes in it.
Yeah. So Life XP is it was originally intended to be like a feature film, but they got funding for the web series, so they made it into a web series. But yeah, it's created by Cassandra Ebner, who is an incredible person in general. Like, she is amazing. But yeah, Life XP was, yeah, I don't know. Like, every single time someone asks me about it, I'm just like, I don't know. I auditioned and I got it and I did it.
Okay, so it's one of the auditions that went through and it was a success. And
yeah, honestly, when I got on set on the first day, director came up to me and he was like, "Thank you so much for coming." I'm like, "Yeah, no, happy to." And he let us know that they wanted someone else.
Oh.
They actually had. He told me that when the auditions were happening, they were looking at my headshots and everything, and they're just like, yeah, she's too small, no. And then I think someone said like, oh, well, she's already confirmed for her audition. And he was like, okay, well, I guess we'll see her then. And he said, yeah, like, I did my audition, and they're just like, no, she's the one. So they had actually expected someone, because like my character Cleophay is supposed to be like the best player in the game. She's like badass, like everyone loves her. And I came in and I'm just kind of like this tiny little girl who doesn't look like she can fight and probably needs protection. But I like Cassandra, I guess, like really liked it, and it was great. But yeah, originally they had someone else intended who was like an Amazonian girl who can fight and be intimidating. Yeah.
Wow. See, like sometimes you have no control over the breaks. It's like, oh, just a little bit of miscommunication and there you go, you got the role.
Yeah, I heard that. I was kind of like, oh, did you not want me? And then he was like, no, you were great. I'm like, okay, great.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How long were the sides, and how long were the lines that you had to memorize to get into the audition?
Ooh, I think it was only like 2 pages, but it was like 2 pages is not that bad. I've gotten auditions like the night before, like there were 8 pages and like super lengthy, and they talk like freaking Sheldon Cooper. Like that audition was insane. But like 2 pages wasn't too bad. And we did actually get plenty of time for it. Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but it was like one of those scenes where like my character was confronting the lead's character. And so it was a bit more lengthy, but it wasn't too bad.
Nice.
It was kind of funny though. My friend and I actually had the exact same audition time for the exact same role, and so we went in early and like we just read lines with each other.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
For our viewers and everything like that, can you just give us a premise of the show and where your character fits into the show?
Yeah, so Life XP is about virtual reality gaming. It follows this girl who Cassandra plays, who's the writer and one of the producers and the lead, who's amazing, and she's also like a stunt actor. She told me that she broke nearly every single bone in her body. But anyway, it follows this girl who has never gamed in her entire life, and she ends up becoming a beta tester for this virtual reality gaming thing. And it's just like it follows her trying to navigate that world and trying to figure out how to game. And she ends up being famous for being like the shittiest player in that universe. And my character and her kind of like come together and kind of butt heads because I'm the best one and she's like the worst, and we're both female. So we kind of butt heads because like she's trying to negate everything that my character has done in terms of like gaining good traction for, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, that's
terrible.
That's funny.
I'm sorry. Read the synopsis.
Awesome. Awesome. Just to almost wrap this up though. So, we're in a quarantine right now. And in addition to all your creative pursuits, you're also, a living person, everything like that. So can you say within this quarantine, what has this quarantine taught you about your own self?
That I can sleep for a very, very long time.
Is that something new?
Yeah, that's a skill I've perfected over the years.
Like, it is amazing how long I can sleep for when I'm bored enough. And also that you can sleep through hunger. So if you are hungry, I can't cook, okay? I can't cook for shit.
I'm on your Instagram. You cook those like udons, right?
No, I didn't cook that. Oh my God, no. Like yesterday, someone asked me how I made that laksa, and I was like, I didn't make it. I ordered it off. Come on,
shit.
Come on. But yeah, so I've gotten to the point of eating junk food, and once I'm out of junk food, you kind of get to a starvation point. And once you just get past that little starvation point, you're fine. You're good. You don't feel that hunger anymore. Like, that's what I've learned.
Okay. All right. That you can sleep longer than you anticipated, and also that food is readily available.
Important life things that you need to know if you can't. I'm just not meant to be, like, most people aren't meant to be trapped at home, but.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I get. Oh, like, wait, Lucas, how many more questions were you thinking?
I was just gonna do one more on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering. I was thinking, like, since we're coming towards the end, and like we mentioned off the top, right, about the making it and that kind of that initial question. I was interested to see that, like, now that you're in a PR job and like you did the Life XP. I'm wondering, like, has your interpretation of like making it shifted from, like, say, when you started to where you are now, and like what does making it look like now for you?
Ooh, I think making it now is just, I think making it period in the acting world. And I think I've been very realistic because I've had some amazing, amazing coaches who really nailed it in that making it is not necessarily stardom, but just to continue acting. So my definition of making it is essentially, if I can not work a job and just rely on acting, that would be amazing. That would be making it. I would happily be a Y level actress, as long as I was just getting work and like not having to serve or like do another job. Like, to be fair, I am very in a lucky position right now, where I have a PR job, or did. But yeah, I think making it is just not having a job. So I'm either gonna marry rich or just gonna have consistent working gigs.
Yeah, always an option. Always an option.
Yeah. Don't marry for
guys.
love.
Let me know if you have any wealth questions. Well, I'm ready.
Lucas, did you just say don't marry for love?
You didn't hear anything, Josh. You heard nothing.
Are you married for the love of what's it called? Survival.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Dude, we're not average, we're savage. I got that from a workout gym. Anyways. From average to savage. Just to wrap it up there, for anyone who is interested.
Everyone has found the love of their life, okay?
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm blessed. For our listeners who are there, like, trying to navigate through their path and maybe trying to go into a creative path, do you have any advice starting up for any potential actors who do want to dip their feet into this game?
Just do it. Do a class. Like, just jump right in. Like, I think the best place to start is like to do a class and really explore that and see if you actually want to pursue it, because acting, I feel like anything in the entertainment industry is hard, and if you do not love it, you do not love it. Like, you cannot imagine having any part of it in your life ever again and you'd be happy. Like, don't do it. Because you have to love it. So I think, like, if you want to do it, make sure you do want to do it, and do that by like taking a course that will like pull you down to the earth and give you a good realistic perspective of like how you should do things, because your coach is always going to give you advice that's like, there's always going to be someone asking a question that you had wished you had asked or come up with. And like take a class. I think the best place to start is to take a class, because the reality will hit you hard as to how hard it really is, and you'll interact with people who are already in the industry. And yeah, but if you want to do it, do it.
I love that.
Like, I feel like especially now, like there are so many opportunities and things that's happening right now that like are available to everybody, because since the industry has stopped, like if you want to do it now. This is the best time to like dip your feet into it, I feel, because like agents have stopped working, so if there are any submissions, they're going to look at it. If you want to reach out to a casting director, guess what, they're bored too, because no one's working, so they're gonna look at that shit. Like if you wanted to like interview anyone at any point, now's the time. Do it. Just do it. My advice is just jump in.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Josh, I'm good with wrapping it here, man. That was a great ender. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Annabelle, where can people find you? And do you have anything to plug?
I have nothing to plug. I mean, if you want to find me, I am on Instagram. I post really weird and obnoxious shit, a lot of food. And right now you'll see me complaining a lot about how I can't cook, but I'm really weird. So if you want to follow me, that's where you'll find me on Instagram at @Belle_Loi.
Nice. And for the web series, you guys have a URL, right, for it that people can find it on?
Yeah, our entire series is actually on YouTube right now, so you can actually just type in Life XP web series and you'll find it, and everything's on there. I highly recommend watching it as a movie. You'll enjoy it more if you watch it in one go. The episodes aren't that long, so like it actually is like it reads as a feature, so I highly recommend watching it that way.
Nice.
Cool.
Also, we have this really video there. So
sorry, a really what video?
There's a little section where there's like a music video and one of the characters is rapping, and that is like by far my favorite scene. It's him rapping because it's great and hilarious.
Nice. Awesome. Get up for Annabelle. Woo!
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks
for joining.
Josh, what are your handles, man?
At Josh Yan Comedy. That's everywhere, all the time, most of the time, and that's it.
Awesome. And you can find me at Lucas John Ing on Instagram and on Facebook. Awesome. Thanks for listening to episode 12.
Cool.
Awesome.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.